Good evening, guys. We're back. It's another episode of the Armoury TV. It's Thursday evening, game on Friday, transfer news going crazy as usual. We're going to get into this. I got my guy Brenny with me, but let's get the intro out of the way first and then we get going. Yes. Good evening, my people. Hope everyone's well. It's another episode of the Armoury TV. I've got my guy Brenny with me. How you keeping, bruv?
I'm all good, man. All good. Yourself?
Can't complain, man. Can't complain. Just want something else to happen this week. Do you know what I mean? It's the
Yeah,
Jesus thing. We knew it was coming. Like
yeah,
I like
we
them
did.
surprise ones, them Fabio Vieira ones where it's just like out of the blue we signed someone. I need one of those ones. So yeah, I'm hoping
Yeah,
something gets done by the end of this week.
we need a
But
few more.
you never know.
We need a few more.
Mm, definitely. And,
Definitely.
and again, I do think we're going to get more. Um, Paul Merson, not sure if you saw the Paul Merson statement that came out. He said he spoke with Edu
No.
over the weekend. Yeah, he said he had met with Edu. They had a conversation. And Edu's kind of said at least two more, at least, are coming in.
Okay.
Um, didn't really say who or what positions, but I think we can gather it's going to be a centre midfielder, a right winger, or a left back. Do you know what I mean? They're the three kind of areas we're looking at, aren't we? So I think the left back would probably be the least important by the sounds of it. I think if push comes to shove, we'll keep Tavares. If
Yeah.
we can't find someone better, but I definitely feel we're looking for a right winger to support Saka and that
hmm
centre midfield position. So, what's your thoughts? Do you think they're the positions we're looking for mainly, or is there anywhere else you think we need to go and get somebody?
Well, I think I think we need at least three. Well,
Yeah,
I'd say to be honest, I'd say four. But realistically, I think we're going to get three. Um,
yeah,
what you just said, I think it'd be another winger, also a
mm,
centre midfielder we need. And I still feel if we can get Martinez, what I like about Martinez is the versatility.
mm,
Tierney, I don't think Tierney will play as many games next season because of the injuries as much as I love Tierney. But I feel if we can get Martinez or maybe get Tavares out on loan, then I think
yeah,
Martinez will also not just at centre back, but I think Martinez would also feature a lot left back.
yeah, yeah. I, I, I definitely feel it will be a left back thing for him. Let's play on the Martinez thing. If we don't get him, it's reports are coming out, literally just come out saying Martinez has made this decision where he wants to go. No one's saying whether it's Arsenal or United. But just say he does go United. Let's be realistic. They've got just as good a chance of us of getting him, haven't they? With Ten Hag being
I
his
was
previous manager.
I was just about to
Um,
say that. I was just about to say it. So it
yeah,
wouldn't surprise me if he ended up going to United because
no,
of
100%.
he want to play for Ten Hag.
Yeah, 100%. So for you, if he does go there, what would be your kind of ideal left back?
Well, I mentioned it. On the chat before and on one of your streams as well that Niger did. And
Mm.
I think Canadian thought that I was kidding when I said Rico Henry, because
Mm.
when I look at Rico Henry at Brentford, that guy reminds me of an Ashley Cole. You
Yeah,
know, no one talks about him, but he just does things under the radar. Brentford fans know what he could do,
mm.
but we if we watch Brentford play, we know what he can do.
Yeah,
I think he's quick, he's strong in a tackle. He goes forward really well. He defends
yeah,
well, and he's someone who I feel. I don't think I'm not saying Arsenal are in for him, but if we were, I reckon he'd probably maybe cost between 20 mil because of the fact that he's English.
mm. Yeah. I said I'm not sure how long he's got left on his contract, but for me, that is a really good shot. I didn't even think of him to be fair. I know we've been linked with him in the past, but actually, I've been crying out for it more the last few years. I want us to get a few more Premiership proven players.
Yeah.
Just because they can hit the ground running. And again, I think he will have no issues coming in and knowing his role is number 2 to Tierney, with the chance of playing a lot of minutes because Tierney may get injured. Plus, we've got European competition, so we will be looking for opportunities to rest Tierney whenever we can, which means the left back will get a lot of minutes.
Definitely.
So I think someone like him, he would understand his assignment, and he would probably be happy with that because you're moving to a bigger club and you're going to get European football. So actually, it is a step up from Brentford. So yeah, I feel that would be a great addition, and I think that would be a lot easier to do than probably the person I would say. Again, for me, I'll be looking for, if Zinchenko was available, that's where I would be looking to go.
Yeah.
And just because of the option, he could play centre mid as well.
Yeah.
And again, that element of, if I do feel we get a centre midfielder. However, if we have another player who can play there, it just helps. Do you know what I mean? It's just more numbers. As much as Xhaka did do better in terms of his output last year, I still feel there's an improvement if Zinchenko plays in that position. So, and again, it's depending on what kind of price you can get him for. Do you know what I mean? You might be able to move on Xhaka or something like that. So yeah, for me, Zinchenko will be one who I'll be looking at. And again, has been quite integral in terms of how City play. I think how Arteta wants to play as well, he would fit the system well. And I think he's one of the underrated players at City. I really do.
He is. He had a really good end of season. He did.
Yeah. And it's you've seen it with Pep sometimes, but he overthinks things, and it can cost him. And that last game of the season almost cost him. I think he played Aki's left back, wasn't he?
That's right.
And half time he brought on Zinchenko. And again, he made a massive difference. Didn't he get a assist and a pre-assist or something? Really important part of that game. And yeah, I think again for him, he'd probably be looking to go somewhere where he's guaranteed a bit more minutes. And do you know what I mean? I think his experience would be really, really important in that young Arsenal team. And he can definitely grow with him. So, but I do like this shout of Rico Henry as well, because I feel he's a very competent left back. So
yeah. I think he's still young, isn't he? I'm sure he's about 24, 25, something
he's not that old, I don't think. And again, he wouldn't have to uproot much. He's in London now. It should be quite an easy, well, not say easy deal to get done. Obviously, Brentford want to hold him, but if rumours had believed, Brentford have gone for the left back we was linked to. I've forgotten his name now. Sugar, the one from Bologna, the young boy, Hickey.
Oh, yes, yeah.
It sounds like Brentford are going to get him over the line. So actually, left back, they may cash in now if they've got a left back coming in. So yeah, Rico Henry could be a very, very good shout. Obviously, Grimaldo is the one we're linked with. Makes sense for the price tag. Very experienced, played at very high level for a long time, so wouldn't be upset with that either. But yeah, for me, if we can get one from the Prem, it just helps, doesn't it?
Premiership proven.
Hold on, Silver Fox is in the building. He's saying Martinez has chosen Man United, so it sounds like we will be going to Plan B then. So let's see what happens.
It doesn't surprise me.
Nah. But again, you never know what Plan B might. Plan A might be Martinez and Tielemans. Plan B might be Milinkovic, Savic, and Grimaldo. Do you know what I mean? That same kind of price tag together, it'd probably be like 80 million for the two players. So we may not pull the trigger on Tielemans now. If we're not, we might spend less at left back and then spend more in centre midfield or on the right wing. And talking about the right wing, we've been linked with this guy. I'm sorry if I butcher his name. Edon Zhegrova. Do you reckon I got that right?
I think so.
Zhegrova. So we've been linked with him. I'll be honest, I don't know too much about him, and I haven't even had the time to even go and look at any videos yet. But all I know is he's from Kosovo. Is that correct?
Yeah.
He's right winger, but plays on the left with a left foot. He's 23, so he's not the youngest.
In fact, I think he was born in Germany. He was born in Germany, but represents Kosovo. I think through his parents.
Okay.
He's an international. So I don't know much about him.
And all I have here is he's moved around quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I think he started off his career with Basel. Is that correct?
No, I think it was Genk, and I think it was Genk in Belgium. No, it was Belgium, and then he went to Belgium, for Genk. But he came from another club before as a youth player.
Right.
Can't remember what, but I know that all I found out earlier on today about him was that he was at Basel for 2 years,
Mm.
and then Lille signed him in the January window this year,
Yeah.
and he's had a
Okay.
few.
And looking at his numbers quickly, yeah. So in League One, he's played 12, 2 goals, 1 assist.
Hmm.
However, in the Super League, I think he's probably where he had his best time. 60
Yeah.
games. Again, some of them might be sub appearances. 9 goals, 15 assists, which isn't a bad
Wow.
return at all. Um,
Hmm.
but is he the answer? What's your thoughts on him? Um, yeah, you go first. What's your thoughts on him? Would you like to see this done? I think it's been 9 mil being rumored to be bid for him. Um,
Well, he's not. I mean, well, he's not exactly someone I'd look for. I mean, obviously, we'd want more experienced players at the club, even though he's 23. I know he's an international, he's been around a few years, but
mm,
I just find that we've got a lot of good youngsters in the under
yeah,
23s and under 18s. And I feel what we need is we need premiership proven players as well,
mm,
as well as experienced players. And also training ground, for example, these young guys we got, they can learn from these players.
yeah,
It's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with having a young squad. I'm happy with what we got in
yeah,
terms of we talk Smith Rowe, Martinelli, Saka. I mean, those three will only get better. But
yeah,
I just feel now if we have some like we got Jesus coming in, he's coming, and I look at and I was talking to Damos the other day about Eddie and Ketia,
yeah,
and Eddie, even though I'll just touch on this quickly, is that he can. I find with Eddie, he's obviously seen what Aubameyang and Lacazette can do on the training ground and everything else, but I think he'll look at Jesus in a different light and think, well, wow, this guy's won titles, he's
mm,
won titles, he's won cups,
yeah,
and I want to be like him. I want to score as many goals as I can because as a centre forward, I mean, I've played centre forward, and you'd always want to do well, and obviously you want to hit those high targets. In terms of Eddie would be like, well, I haven't scored that many goals in my Arsenal career, but I feel I can push on, and I'm
mm,
still young enough, and I've got Jesus there, and that would also bolster me for when I get my chance. I've got to make it count,
yeah,
or maybe I can play with Jesus if he's on the left or he's on the right. So so going back to what we're saying with with
Shagrova.
Zhegrova, I did remember his name. With Zhegrova, I think he's probably coming in because they probably looked at it and thought, well, Bukayo Saka, you could see he was burnt out towards the end of the season.
Mm,
And I thought overall, I thought he had a good season. And they're probably looking, you know what? When we need to rest him for games, we could bring in Jagrova. And I think that's
mm,
what they're looking to do. I think they're looking to have two in every position.
yeah,
And I think
100%.
maybe that's why they're looking at this guy thinking, well, he can only get better as well.
Mm,
And he's
yeah,
an
I
can't knock.
I agree. And again, I don't want to turn my nose up at a price tag or a player because when we signed Martinelli for 7 mil from Brazil, and he was in, I think, the second or third tier and never played in top tier, and he
Yeah,
came in within his first season. Again, the talk was he was going to be in the 23s, and he played in Europe. He started scoring goals, and he hasn't looked back. Only injuries have really stopped him from playing a lot of minutes. So, and then you look on the flip side, we signed someone for 72 million who's proven, played in European competition, scored a bag of goals in the French league, and if I was to ask you which one was which, and you didn't know who the players were, you would think the 72 million player was Martinelli and the 7 million player was Pepe. So you never
exactly.
know what you're going to get. These guys, again, Edu for me has got a lot of things more right than wrong.
Hmm.
So yeah, you got to kind of just got to go with it. However, it's not to go from Rafinha to him is a bit of a it's a bit too much of a jump
Yeah.
if that makes sense. And I'm all for bringing in young players with potential because I think this is what Marquinhos is to us. However, yeah, I feel if we bring something to rival Saka, then it needs to be a higher level, because otherwise you're going to have the same problem again. Pepe there as a number 2 for Saka, and for some reason or another he wasn't getting any minutes, so Saka burnt out. So we need someone who's going to be able to challenge Saka. Again, if we're bringing this guy in just to be an extra a third option, maybe bring him in and loan him out because he's got high potential. I'm all for it, but I do want to see someone a bit better. And Silver Fox has got a great name here. Give me some Goncalo Guedes. He can play. Again, we've been meant to be heavily linked with Asensio and meant to have put a bid in, which is higher than what AC Milan offered. So yeah, I think we're definitely in the market for that player. Maybe this guy is just become available, and maybe he's not the answer right now. Maybe he's a long-term plan, but actually we need to get him in now, because if we leave it another year, his value might rocket to 25, 30 million. Do you know what I mean? So we never know. You might see a buy and loan him straight back out again. We haven't done that often. So you never know what this one will be. We've also been linked with that young Turkish midfielder as well, who I think is 17. And again, he might be the same thing, or bring him in now while he's cheap. A bit like we did with Saliba. Bring him in while he's cheap, let him go and play, and then you never know what's going to happen long term. And if he's not that great or doesn't live up, then you hopefully sell him on. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of that with the right wing, I suppose. Who would be your ideal right winger to come in?
Ideal. Serge Gnabry, but I don't think we'll get him.
Yeah, I think that's wishful thinking. I think, well, even what reports are saying is he's not. He's there on the list, but it's not one we're pursuing. I think he's a waiting game, isn't it? If he's not happy with what Bayern are offering, then you may be able to go grab him. But I think he will have a lot of suitors after him, like
definitely,
or Liverpool. Yeah. And does he love Arsenal that much to turn down them clubs to come to us? I'm not too sure.
It's a shame, because I never wanted him to go in the first place.
Nah, definitely not. But yeah, let's see. Fingers crossed. I do think we will get another right winger over the line. Let me just hear Damos. How you keeping, bruv? He was referring to what you said about Eddie. Eddie will step up. He has to. It'll be a good thing for us. I've always liked Eddie. You've probably seen on a lot of streams I'll be defending Eddie to the end. So yeah, I've got no doubt he will step up and score some goals, man. He's a natural goal scorer. Do you know what I mean? And physically, he's improving. And this is where, for me, I wouldn't go maybe get the right winger. I would give Reece Nelson a chance. I think I'm expecting big things from him. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. You've seen him physically; he looks a lot better. He looks a lot more powerful when he moves. His acceleration. I think that was an issue before. He would get half a yard on someone but couldn't get away, and now I'm starting to see a little difference. And a bit like a Damari Gray and them guys, where actually they now start looking a bit more electric. And Eddie went for it this time last year. Eddie didn't look he looks frightening when he runs now. He's got a real turn of pace.
He does, and what I love about Eddie is the way he presses. And Gabriel Jesus, he does the same.
Yeah,
from the front, and we'll see a lot of that from both players next season as well.
Definitely. DJ Damos, he agrees with you. Gnabry would be nice. It'd be more than nice if you get him. And DWTT's in the building. He said Arsenal needs starters. 7 million players usually aren't starters. They are projects. Arsenal have too many of these when they are trying to establish themselves as a top 4 club. Yeah, it's kind of what we're saying now. I totally agree with that. Like, by all means, get them in. So Lokonga, Tavares, them lot are your projects. However, it's like we need, as we saw last season, when these guys had to start playing 5-6 games in a row, we started to really struggle. So we need guys that are going to come in, hit the ground running, and actually maybe be better than what was playing originally. Do you know what I mean? That's what you need. You need someone to come in, a bit like Eddie did. He came in, took his opportunity, and then didn't look back. We had it a lot with Smith Rowe and Martinelli. Smith Rowe's on fire, a little injury, misses one game. Martinelli comes in, has a great game. Smith Rowe's now on the bench and has to now earn his place back. So we need more of that all over the pitch, and I agree with you on that. But right, before we move on, I've got someone in the building is ready to come on. I feel honoured because we don't see this guy often. And so for him to pop on my stream, mate, I've got Roti in the building. I think it's because it's Nigerian Englishman's birthday. We've had to pay for the guest appearance. It's like bringing Drake to the club, bringing this guy on. So no further ado, it's my guy, Boots. How you keeping, brother?
What's going on?
It's been a long time. How you been?
Yeah, I'm alright, man. Yeah, it's been busy, bro.
I
It's
can
really
imagine. I
busy,
can
man.
imagine. So,
How you
so
doing? You all right?
I'm good. I'm good. Cheers. I'm good. Brenny, I'm not
Brennan?
gonna. I
How you
know.
going, mate?
How you doing, my man?
Cool.
Right, Boo. It's been so long since we had you on the stream. I'm gonna give you like a couple of minutes just to talk through the signings we've made, how you feel about them, players we're linked to, and then we're gonna get on to the tomorrow's match. So you have 5 minutes to yourself. Just let us know what you're thinking of the
Don't
transfer
need
window
5,
so far.
mate. I ain't gonna
5.
king, bruv. I'll summarize in a couple. Yeah, I mean, the Vieira signing, I don't think anyone knew much about that. And I think everyone's doing their research on the sly, sort of half saying, yeah, I knew a little bit about him. Not really. I'll be real. I didn't know much about him at all. So yeah, he looks good though. The clips, obviously. Portuguese league, the players adapt quite well. So hopefully he will come in and do a job. I like that we've got some competition up there for them spots. The wing thing, it confused me because I don't think anyone really saw us going. Obviously, we need a striker. Eddie then extended his deal, but then I didn't really see like the Rafinha thing. It's sort of like for me, if anywhere, just what you guys were alluding to with like Martinelli, like playing well, Smith Rowe can't get back in. I think that was the only spot in the team really that we had the best depth, would you say?
Yeah, left wing
Like
for me.
everywhere else, it's like Cedric for Tomiyasu, Tavares for Tini. Do you know what I mean? That Smith Rowe being on the bench, it didn't sit right with me. I understood it, but it's like he didn't really do much wrong to be on the bench, if that made sense. But yeah, I digress. It's like that's why I didn't really get the Rafinha. It's sort of like don't skip leg day, like that. Like don't we're top heavy. We're doing all right in it in the top areas. Like let's get the centre mid. That's the priority for me. A Tillemans. I like Neves, but I think he's now talked Silver Fox. What you saying? Yeah, he's priced himself out, I believe.
Yeah, they're talking
This
75 mil for him or something.
Yeah, silly money. This guy who we've just been linked with, again, I had to Google him, sounded like a Wi-Fi password code. But I looked at his name. I looked at his name and I see his stats, mate. That's worrying. Have you seen his stats?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's not.
Lille.
I said when you see like Gakpo, people like that, you're thinking that makes sense to me. Yes, it's not as strong league, but he's banging in them leagues, so you're thinking it makes sense. Whereas
He's not even banging in France. He got 2 goals in 13 games. He only come there from Basel last 1
in
year ago,
January,
innit?
half a year, he
January,
went in
there you
January.
go.
Yeah,
The bruv Pepe was looking like flipping Pele out there at Lille.
yeah,
What happened to him? So I don't know about him.
not buying into it.
Nah.
What's your thoughts on
What are you
the
saying?
Martinez situation?
Martinez, yeah, I think he will be very good. Him or Sinchenko, I feel, will be very similar in terms of the coverage. Left back, centre mid. He can't play centre back, but I think we're good for centre back, right? Saliba's there, Ben White, and Gabriel. It'll be great to have more coverage there. But Silver Fox's guy is still there, Rob Holding. So we still got a 4th choice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But what are you saying? What are you guys thinking on the window as a whole so far?
I think it's got the potential to be one of the best windows I've seen as an Arsenal fan. It's really got the potential, but it's just whether we can actually get them targets over the line. Because
this is it. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I can remember the last time there was this much action in a window. It was probably 2001. I mean, it was like 2001. It was Sol Campbell coming in on a free. I think shocked everybody. That was massive. It was like wow. Couldn't even believe that. And then you had Yanichi Inamoto, who didn't get to show what he could do, but then later in that at the end of the season, he ended up doing well with Japan in the World Cup. And then I think there was Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. I thought he did well for us. And we had I think we had a couple more signings, but they weren't biggest. I think
big names.
Sol Campbell was the biggest one.
Yeah. I think we got signed Richard Wright that day as well, didn't we? Because
that's correct. Yeah, Richard Wright.
Conversation was we were
Jeffers as well. That weren't Jeffers, was it?
I think it was.
Yes, it was. You're right. Francis Jeffers also. So it was
in
those
the box.
Yeah, Francis Jeffers, I felt could have. He wasn't given that many opportunities.
No.
and he couldn't get ahead of Carnu, Wiltord, Armoury, Bergkamp. So yeah,
it's so mad though, isn't it? The Sol Campbell, what you said there. Imagine that happening today.
That's what I mean.
Just so the difference between the clubs now. Obviously, we've still got our elements of like being much better than them. They're slightly, previous. It's very marginal, but I mean, just that happening, it wouldn't happen now, would it?
No, it wouldn't at all. And you know what I mean? And just to add as well, when Campbell, I know we're going back years ago, but when Campbell did come in, he wasn't worried about him, Tony Adams, obviously in his last season, we didn't know at the time, and then Martin Keown. You could rotate the three of them, and it wouldn't, it didn't matter who was playing. If you see the lineup and you're like, "All right, Keown's playing with Campbell," you'd be like, that's all good.
Yeah.
Adams, Campbell, Adams, Keown, it was great. Now, when you're talking about the centre halves we got now, do you all think that we could have that sort of rotation?
I think only now Saliba's in, I think you won't see fans be frustrated if there's a change to the back two. We obviously know White and Gabriel is our preferred partnership. If Saliba comes in because we're resting White, I don't think anyone bats an eye. I think it's then when it was Holding coming in, it was like, why is Holding playing? And yeah, I think that's what we have to improve on. Like Bruce was saying earlier, the only position where I couldn't pick who was going to start. I could pick the whole 11, or I could pick 10. The only issue was, is it Smith or Martinelli? That was the only position which wasn't locked down last year. We knew if it, towards the end of the year, was Eddie. Before that was Laka. Before that was Aubameyang. Centre mids, it was Partey and Xhaka. Right wing was Saka. Back four picked itself, and Ramsdale was in goal. So, yeah, I think it's only the left wing where we actually had competition, and I think we need to get back to that to be challenging. You can't go for a season.
Ultimately, that cost us, didn't it? Really, by the end of the last 3-4 games, we had like half the team was like a Carling Cup team, wasn't it? Like Cedric, Tavares, Holding, El Neni,
Sambi Lokonga, but Granit Xhaka.
That's what I wanted really from this window. Like I wanted us to get a couple DMs, get him out the door. Let's see it happening.
But we're gonna leave that for another string, because I don't want to keep bashing him. It is what it is.
We'll be on here for hours, mate.
Yeah, definitely. But let's move on. Let's move on to tomorrow's game, because it is match day on Friday, our second friendly. But I think this one is televised, if I'm correct. I think it's a 4 p.m. kickoff. And we're playing away to Nuremberg in Germany. So what's your thoughts on the game? Obviously, it's pre-season, so we're probably going to see a lot of players. Who are you looking forward to seeing tomorrow?
Well, I'm gonna miss the first 15-20 minutes of the game, and then I'll be watching it on my way home. So for me, I'm looking at it'll be what's going to be our first team, or who's be mainly our first team. I'm looking for them, and then second half, give the youngsters 45 minutes. For Amari Hutchinson, it could be even Nathan Butler. I want to see a bit more. I want to see a bit of Nathan Butler. Because with Nathan Butler as well, I'll probably, maybe someday if the missus speaks to him, because they're related, they're cousins,
right?
May even try one day to get him on the stream. I've never met him personally, but I did mention that to her, and she was like, "No, I don't want to. Oh, I'm not into football. Don't want to talk about." I said, "Yeah, but cousins, I don't know." So, but all jokes aside, I would like to see the youngsters on the show.
Yeah, fair play. What about you, Boo? Do you any youngsters in particular you want to see, or you want to go out there quite strong?
I'm eager to see Patino, because obviously he's the big sort of, I don't know, name, I guess, come through next, right? The Brazilians, are there any of them ready? I see Marquinhos, that guy looks ready physically. He looks physically ready. And I'm hearing a few, obviously it's all Twitter and stuff, so you take it with a pinch of salt, but people are on the lowdown, it's sort of similar to the Martinelli. Like just because he was 4 million, it doesn't mean he's that caliber of player. Do you understand?
Yeah,
Wasn't he in his
yeah.
last year contract as well?
Well, his contract was a funny one because his club signed him on a 5-year deal. However, in Brazil, anyone under 18, I think, can't sign for more than 3 years. So what happened is he's gone past his 3 years. Arsenal, as a goodwill gesture, paid 3 mil. Because really we could have took him on a free, but we'd have probably had to go through court proceedings, which might have then cost more or whatever. So I think they just said, right, agree on 3 and take him. So I think the club, if they were going to sell, if he had 2 years left, we're looking at like a 15 or something like that, 15, 20. So we've got him at a bargain. And I think even as Wolves were a bit annoyed because I think they had a pre-agreement in place, and I'm not too sure, but there might be some more court proceedings coming, but it sounds like Edu's has gone in there and just dealt with the matter and got him in. So yeah, he could be a real gem. For me, I want to see him in action. Patina's never. I want to see
is he ready?
Do you know? I'm not too sure if he's been trained. I haven't seen any pictures of him so far, so I'm not sure if he's had an extended break. Maybe he was playing some international tournaments or something.
I was going to say that if he was playing, because I don't know if I never watched any of the French games, but I don't know.
Yeah, he was playing. He was playing. He was playing. Actually, he was playing the international cup, whatever. I don't know what it's called.
Was it the Nations League?
Nations League. Yeah, he was playing in that. I do remember actually. So yeah, he's probably on an extended break. I think I want to see Lukonga as well. I think he looked really good from the clips I saw in the Ipswich match. So it'd be quite nice to actually see him properly again. And if Reece Nelson's there again, be interesting to see how he's getting on. So yeah, for me, it's about seeing the players I haven't seen much of. Like, do you know what I mean? I know what White and Gabriel give me, so actually I'd rather see someone different. But I'm looking forward to either of those. If I've missed it, man, like international football just bores the life out of me. So I'm actually good to see the boys back in action.
I know.
Yeah.
But sorry, Gumsa, can I just add as well to both of you guys as well? I feel that as well with the if we can get these signings done within the next couple of weeks, what would be great as well is that we can get them. We can get for the friendlies coming up, we can get them ready. We can get them, get to know your teammates, get to gel with the lads, and then by the time the season starts, we'll be ready. Because I feel if we are ready and we have got the signings in place, and we don't have to go to the last day of the August window, I feel I'm not just saying this. I feel we could win our first 4 league games.
Yeah,
and I'm just saying that because I feel we'll be ready. If we're not ready, we'll struggle against Palace.
Yeah, 100%. And like you're saying, we've got some big friendlies coming up because I think we've got obviously Nuremberg first, then it's Everton, Orlando City, Chelsea. So that kind of gives you an indication of where we are when you're playing those teams, isn't it?
Exactly.
Then we have Sevilla.
Yeah.
And the
Emirates Cup, innit?
Yeah, Sevilla in the Emirates Cup. I've got my tickets for that, so I'll be down there. I'm happy. And again, I want to see new signings in that. That's the game before the season starts. So that's where you want to see as close to your first 11 as possible. And then a week later, then you've got Crystal Palace on a Friday night. So that Emirates Cup game and the Chelsea game a week before, they're quite important games for us because that is when you want to see players almost up to full speed then. Do you know what I mean? Because the season's only a week
100%.
after the Emirates Cup. So yeah, it's
I don't know. I remember this. Like there was one pre-season. Do you remember when Ramsey had that standout year? He scored that banger against Liverpool. He scored about 15, 20 goals. And in that pre-season, he was looking very good.
He was impressive in that pre-season.
Against teams like Chelsea, he was playing like competitive games, and I just remember. I don't know why it just come to my head.
Yeah,
but so it is like pre-season. It can be misleading.
Yeah,
but then other times we tell you, bro, you're cool. It's just a quick question. Can I ask you lot something? I'm just interested. Richarlison and Jesus, who do you prefer? Like as a neutral, forget about who they've gone to. Who would you have if you had the choice? Who would you have wanted?
I would say Jesus.
Yeah.
And the reason being, you get more goals and you even get more assists from him as well than Richarlison. And I like Richarlison. I do like him, but I think we got the better out of the two. Even though I would have liked them both at the club together, but I think we got the better.
Yeah. For me, I think we got the right player for Arsenal, and they got the right player for Tottenham.
Yeah.
And it's not to
No,
say
I hear
one's
that.
worse than the other, but I think Spurs have always struggled to get a backup striker because if Harry Kane's fit, Harry Kane plays. So no striker in their right mind is going to go there and play second fiddle.
That's right.
With him, Richarlison, because he can play on the wing, he'll make up his minutes there. And if Harry Kane needs a rest or is injured, then he'll go up front. So it's almost like expect to see him more on the wings than as a striker for Tottenham, but he's an option as a striker if they need it. Whereas I think we need an out-and-out goal scorer as a striker. And so we've got Smith Rowe, we got Martinelli, we got Saka, potentially Nelson, Pepe still there. So it's, for me, we needed a goal scorer, and I don't think Richarlison scores enough as a centre striker for me to be my first choice striker. So it's easy to say Jesus is the better
Definitely
player
going to
because
be
of
the
his.
9 though. Do
Who,
you think
Jesus?
he's definitely going to be our centre
I
forward?
think
Because
he
there's
is.
all. I mean,
think
I think that's what Arteta sees him as. But then it's sort of like he's come out openly and said like he prefers the wing, right? He's
Yeah.
actually said that, and he
Yeah.
played a lot of his time as a winger. Like ever
As a
since
winger.
Aguero left, they always played really like a false 9 thing where he would be in the middle, but not like a, how say Lack and Eddie was incorporated in our system, like as a proper 9. Do you see what I mean? They play like a false 9, or he plays on the wing. So no, I'm just interested. I mean, like, as in he could have probably gone to Spurs and done a similar thing to what you're saying with like the coverage that Richarlison gives, in that he can play centre forward or wing. That's why I was relating the two in that. Who would you prefer?
Yeah.
I do hear what you're saying. I mean, definitely, like I would say, Gabriel Jesus. I got a lot more confidence in him being like a central striker and bagging goals more so than a Richarlison. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's one of them ones. It's so hard to compare when you're talking City and Everton because, again, Jesus might do everything. Not Jesus. Richarlison might do everything right, and he might be crossing to, I don't know who's there. Who is there? Czech Tosin, someone like that. Do you know what I mean? Who's not going to bang? Whereas Jesus is crossing for Sterling or De Bruyne or Gundogan. So, and again, he's receiving passes from Bernardo Silva and Gundogan. Do you know what I mean? So it's so hard to compare when
100%.
people just look at stats. But one thing I
Do you
do
know
like
the
about
flip of that, Gumsa? Do you know the flip of that? Just quickly, you see with like City, you see like Grealish, big fish in Villa, yeah. He's come to City, and Pep just told him, mate, that's not how we play, mate. Not everything's going through you. You got KDB, you got Bernardo Silva, Foden. They're all ballers. So it's like Jesus coming now out of that environment, coming into Arsenal. I feel like he could really excel. Like his ceiling is so much higher at Arsenal than at City, because I think the leash will be let off with him. He can just go and do his business.
And I do think because Pep is very, very system in it, like, and it doesn't surprise me. Grealish didn't get the minutes he probably thought he would have got in his first season because he's not the first one to go there and have to sit out a season almost. Like we've seen it with Mahrez. The first year he went to City, you got to learn. Like you're not coming straight in. You have to learn the system. So it took him a while to really establish a position in that club. So. And I think we've seen it with a lot of players, especially the front players at City who have gone there. It takes them a while. I think Haaland might be the exception because he's just a monster in it. So, but I think everyone who goes City, you have to adapt. And I think Jesus coming to Arsenal, he's said he wants to play on the wing. Again, is it a confidence thing? Is it a case of like if I'm the main striker, if I don't score, people are looking at me. If I go on the wing, I'm not under the radar as much. So I think Arteta will put his arm around him, really make him the focal point. And again, almost build the system around him. Like it'd be interesting to see. I think you can get the best out of him. And again, is it competition? Because if you remember when he first come to City, he replaced Aguero for a good chunk of the season, and Aguero had to then work on his game to get. Aguero then had to start pressing because that was the thing. Pep was saying you got to press. Aguero wasn't doing it.
That.
I put the young boy in, and he did do well. So again, I think it's a case he can play there. And again, it might just be a confidence thing. It might just take him being told you are a good striker rather than because again, sometimes we've seen players do. I've coached players who you're telling them you're this, but he's saying to me, "No, I want to play there," just because I don't want the pressure of being that person. Again, it's like the armband. You can say to someone, "Do you want the armband?" and they're saying, "No, it's too much pressure. Like I'd rather just play football." So it might just be Arteta needs to. Do you know what I mean?
We've seen it so many times. Henry, bro, like he was a winger.
Yeah.
Is a thing. Just the last one. Just what a lot of just with this topic, what I'm hearing a lot of people, which is such a dead analogy, like Richarlison is the 9 for Brazil, so he's over thing. So what?
Yeah.
Harry Maguire's our centre back.
It doesn't mean he's better than Ben White,
It doesn't mean nothing. And if one man's picking the guy, doesn't really mean anything. So
yeah,
I'm not on that talk. For me, Jesus, like, I think numbers, eye test. Yeah, I think he wins on everything. To be honest, but I think what he has in his locker, Richarlison, he's a shit ass, isn't he? Like,
yeah,
sorry,
he's horrible. Yeah,
swearing. He's just one of them guys, isn't he? He's just a nuisance. So
horrible player to
like,
play against. And physically, I think he's obviously a bit taller than Jesus. So and he is
agree.
quite good in the
In
air
the
and
air,
stuff.
he's a
Isn't
lot
he? Yeah,
better.
yeah.
Yeah.
But again, Jesus does scores a good amount of goals. Like again, he's just not physically as demanding as Richarlison. But as I said, I'm happy with what we've got. I think he's he's less risk. I think as well than Richarlison. I think that's the difference for me. I think Richarlison's a bit more of a gamble at that level. I'm not saying he's not a good player, but how's he going to adapt to that? Gunnar King's here and he's agreeing with you. He's saying, sorry, it's loading. Casuals use that dumb international argument for getting players in the modern game are picked to fit systems, not on the basis of standout individual quality alone. 100%. And again, I think that comes to the question as well. I think the question was answered of Jesus where he wanted to play for Brazil, and he was the one that said on the wing. So, and you never know his reasons why. It might be at the time there was another striker who's commanding more minutes than him. Do you know what I mean? It might be the role he's getting asked to do, he doesn't want to do. So imagine he's going to Brazil and they're saying it's all about Neymar. So actually, I want you to be the hold-up striker. He might say, I don't want to do that role. Like, I'd rather go on the right-hand side, let someone else take the kicks for Neymar. Do you know what I mean?
You're the Lacazette, innit, of the team.
Yeah, he might not want that in Brazil. Do you know what I mean? Because again, Neymar
Come
is
on.
the big guy in that squad. So the striker might get that Benzema role under Ronaldo, where actually you're there to do the dirty,
100%.
and Ronaldo can cheat on the left. So that could be a reason why he said, "I want to play on the right." We'll never know. So, like Gunnar King saying, just end of the day, let's accept what we got, be happy, and come end the next season, then we can do that talking and then maybe then comparisons. But up to now, I'm happy with the player we got. Just quickly, there's been another link quite heavy at the moment. We've it sounds like we're looking at Lucas Paqueta from Lyon. So what's your thoughts on that quickly before we go? Brenny, do you know much about the guy? Another one from Lyon. First it was Aouar, then it was Gamirez, now it's Paqueta. Do you think there's any legs in it?
You know what? I used to follow the French league like mad years ago, but boy, I could hardly tell you any of the players in the French league now. So
yeah,
I don't know where that story's come from. I couldn't even tell you anything about this one.
Yeah. What about yourself, Boots? You know much about
Paqueta? I'm not too clued either on that guy. I'll be real. Where's he from? Lille, did you say? Lyon?
Yeah, Lyon. He's at Lyon. King's giving him the approval. He's saying he's a savage. So again, it definitely sounds like we're in the market for that. More of an advanced midfielder. So who knows? Who knows? What's it? Sorry.
Another one.
Yeah. I don't think he played in a 10, but that midfielder who's a bit more creative. So
I'll have to check him out.
Yeah.
Okay, his stats and
Who would you guys pick as like the most important out of all the people that we're realistically linked with? If you had to pick one to go over the line, who would it be?
Centre mid.
And like what player?
Do you know what? I certainly like a Paqueta. I do like Tielemans, but I think he's. I look at our numbers from midfield last season. Like Xhaka might have been 2 goals, a couple of assists. Partey was very similar in numbers. Odegaard's numbers, he's done well, but it still wasn't good enough for that position. So for me, that midfielder, when I look at Milinkovic-Savic's numbers, 11 goals, 11 assists or something crazy, 22 goal involvements from centre midfield. I want that centre midfielder to be better in the final third. So for me, that is so. As much as I like Tielemans, I don't think he will give me enough. Like now, I'm seeing like Milinkovic-Savic. That's the kind of midfielder I want. Almost, I need Ramsey numbers from midfield.
Yeah, I agree.
I kind of need someone who's going to break lines and really go forward and be another number in the box to unsettle teams. I don't think it's very easy to mark our strikers at times. No one's making a third man run behind just to take a player out of the way or just create a few problems. That's what I want from my centre midfielder to play next to Partey. I think I'm happy with him being a deep one. Or again, if we do get a 6, then we release Partey and let him do the box to box. So I'm happy either or, but Partey at the base, we've seen what he can do. So actually, for me, it's move Xhaka out the way and put someone else there.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. What about yourself? Brenny, do you feel it's a good question, Booze? Do you feel what's the strong position you think we need the most?
Right now, it's I would say left back, and
Reckon?
the reason being is because it's Kieran Tierney that I'm worried about. Because you see, with Nuno Tavares, I don't even know if he's well. I don't know. I don't know. I heard that there's a possibility he may be going out on loan. I think if he does, I think it'd be good for him.
Mm.
But I was just thinking of cover for Kieran Tierney because as much as I rate Tierney highly, I don't think he'll play a whole heap of games for us next season because I think he'll break down again.
Mm.
You know, because he's too injury prone, and you know, I think he could go with maybe have a run of maybe 12, 13 games, and then something will happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really hope he's over his injury problems, but that's why I'm thinking left back because I'm thinking he can't play Cedric Suarez at left back. I'm sorry, you can't.
No,
You
no,
know,
no.
you cannot do that. I mean, he played there one time. I think it was a couple of seasons ago where he had a good game there. I couldn't remember who we were playing against, but it's the kind of thing where if you play Cedric at left back, it'd be one good game every 6, and we cannot afford that.
Yeah.
So I would look at left back right now.
Fair enough. It makes sense. It does make sense.
Right.
Again, it's one of them things. Even being fluid, like if you now bring in a right winger who's equaling, it's just say we did get Rafinha, who's giving Saka a real push, and then we got an injury at left back. Saka could end up going left back for a bit, and I think that's still an improvement on a Cedric or maybe what Tavares gave you. Do you know what I mean? So it's about getting whatever we bring in, it's got to be quality. So
Yeah.
you can always address other issues, but like you're saying, Cedric going left back, Shaka going left back, this can't happen this year. Like, can't be done. We've seen the issues. And what you start to find, we start to move players all over the place to get other players in to cover. It was just became a mess. I think it was it the Southampton or Brighton game where
Right.
we had to like make three changes in 3 different positional changes just to try and cover at left back. Like it really hampered us in that game. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, for me, I hear you left back. I think again, cover's just as important as bringing these first 11 guys in. Do you know what I mean? It is really important for us right
It's so
now.
important, like the centre mid, like you're saying, the centre mid and the left back, just because Partey, even though in Atletico he wasn't like that, but for us he has been injury prone, so it could just be a fluke thing. Xhaka just is what it is with him. We need coverage in centre midfield and left back because I think that cost us. That's why I see Zinchenko or Martinez, those two, one of those two, right, would be. That'd be great for us because it brings the coverage across, and then you're just hoping that you're not going to get an injury in both areas at the same time because they can jump into either or. But I agree with you, Gumsa. Like Savage, the Lazio guy, if we can get him, I remember him from Football Manager. Do you remember him from Football Manager, bro? I know you're a big player on that.
Big Football Manager player,
he was like a wonder kid, and I followed him since then. Cold.
Never bought him.
We'll definitely, like you say, bring like the goals numbers that more so than Tielemans. He does what Tielemans does or whatever and more. Do you know what I mean?
More,
that. But
I
Tielemans
think for
just
me,
seems the more likely for the money. Do you know what I mean?
it makes sense. But if we end up not getting Martinez, as it's rumored, he's going United, and we do bring in Grimaldo as that cover, such a. Do you know what I mean? You're saving 40 mil. So actually, you might as well spend the 30 that you're going to put on Tielemans, put the extra 30 in there, and really go and get that player who is going to make a massive difference to us. Do you know what I mean? Gunnar
See
King
what
saying
Gunner's saying there, See what Gunner was saying there
here.
with the winger. That's what I was sort of saying at the start. Like, I don't know why I was confused with the Rafinha because I would not be on pumping 70 on Rafinha and then 30 on Tielemans. I'd rather, like you say, do the extra because we're top heavy now. Like Gunner's saying, Vieira and Marquinhos can play there, and we've already got Smith Rowe as coverage
and Reece
across
Nelson
the middle
potentially
and the
could be
left.
back in the squad.
It doesn't make sense that Rafinha. I think it was just more like me. But the thing is, man, sorry, just digress. It's like no one really knows what's happening. Let's be real. Like no one knew about this Vieira guy. That just happened overnight. No one heard nothing. Bang. It was like an old school transfer, isn't it? When you see on CFAX, just load up CFAX and you see the transfer. You know, it's like that. It's like So the rest of them, who knows? It's agents just pumping, like
Yeah.
tabloids pumping information to get a better deal for whatever. Oh, were we ever really in for Rafinha? Like everyone's saying about Barca in for all these man, they can't afford no one. Apparently, they're
Yeah.
hijacking every deal at the moment as
Yeah.
well. So
Again,
what makes sense in a sense.
agents play a massive role, don't they? They know what they're doing. Again, even the Tillemans thing, it seems like since West Ham have been linked and Newcastle have been linked and United have been linked, now it's all of a sudden Arsenal are going to pull the trigger. So again, it could be Tillemans going to his agent saying, look, I need this move ASAP. I don't even want to go back to training at Leicester. So the agent might come out and say, oh, Newcastle are going to bid, West Ham are going to bid. That forces Arsenal to say, I've got to go make the bid now. Do you know what I mean?
There
So
you go.
it is a lot of gamesmanship, a lot of brinksmanship. We saw it with Odegaard last year. We was meant to go for Odegaard. They said 60 mil. We waited a couple of weeks. Next thing you know, he's half the price. So yeah, it's a lot of to-ing and fro-in. I do wish we would get another one over the line ASAP. Again, especially if it's one that we feel will go in and start the season. So like your centre midfielder, I think that needs to be done. Again, if it's cover for left back, that can wait. Do you know what I mean? If Tierney's fit, if that happens towards the end of the window, so be it. But if we're looking to bring anyone in who's going to be challenging for a first team spot, they need to come in now and get a bit of pre-season with us. Let's just get to some more comments.
Oh yes.
But yeah, I hear what Gunnar King's saying there. Like, not to say we don't know what Marquinhos and Vieira are going to be like in the league, so you don't want to put too much pressure on them backing up Saka. But all equally, you can put Smith right there if you need to. Like, there's players there you can get, and again, there's probably good players in that position where you don't have to spend a fortune. Like Asensio could come in for 30 mil. So what else we got? He's got DWTT saying the trend: KT 3 years of injuries, Partey 2 years of injuries, Tomiyasu 1 year. So that's what he's saying. We need covering fullback and a quality player to replace Partey. Gunnar King saying he likes Fabian Ruiz at Napoli. Yeah, I like him as well. Actually, links have cooled down on him, but he has 1 year on his contract.
Good price. That'd be a good price
if we can get him. Got a Chelsea fan up in the building. He's saying he's not bad. He's talking to Gunnar King. And yeah, it looks like Chelsea are going crazy at the moment. So it's going to be an interesting season. Is he saying here? He saw a tweet. Arsenal bid 23 mil plus 10. LC says Leicester City want 35. Why they keep doing this? So yeah, Arsenal always going to haggle and try and break down the deal and scrimp and save on 2 million. It does frustrate me. It does frustrate, but you know, it's life of an Arsenal fan. And Gunnar King saying there's only 9 likes, so guys, make sure you keep smashing the likes in the building.
Like it up, really people. Come on, it's free.
Yeah,
Press
doesn't
that
cost
button.
anything. Trust me, you know. And he's saying we need to focus our priorities: centre mid as a 6th to cover Partey, number 9 who can hold and link up play, cover at left back. See, that's the other option rather than get another winger. Is get a different striker. And then Jesus can then cover Saka if there's injuries out there. We've seen he's played out there for City most of last year. He's played there for Brazil. It's like that for me. I'd rather than get a right winger, I would actually go and get a different kind of striker, a bigger striker who we can get balls into. And if he needs to change the style of play a bit, that would be my priority rather than a winger actually. So yeah, I'm with him on that. And he wants an attacking right back. But guys, we're gonna wrap up there. We hit the 50-minute mark. Brenny's disappeared. He said it was bright outside. All of our screens have just gone dark when we had our lights on. But yeah, Brenny, appreciate you. Booed. It was lovely to see you again, brother.
Bless, man.
And yeah, obviously Arsenal in action tomorrow, so I'm not too sure someone's doing a reaction to it, but hopefully so. And yeah, enjoy the rest of the evening. Make sure you keep liking and subscribing. We really appreciate it. But for us three, for now, we out of here.
Take care, guys.